Hi there, my friend. Welcome to the podcast today. It has been a long time since I've talked to you here. We did have an interview that you probably heard recently with Dr. Stambaugh talking about GLP-1s and who they're good for and whether or not they're good for midlife women. So that was our last episode, but that wasn't sitting in the vault. So I actually haven't recorded anything new since last fall. I had a weird thing where I lost my voice after a viral illness and had to go get voice therapy, and it was very strange. But I did continue to coach professional women to lose weight for the last time, so that has not gone away. And now that I'm able to speak pretty well, I'm back at it and happy to be here with you. So today we're talking about how to lose weight so that you feel better about yourself. Now, if you are a professional woman who has gone after a big goal in the last couple of years, maybe you used a coach or a digital course or signed up for a program, somewhere along the way, I would wager that someone has asked you, what is your why? Why do you want to get this big goal? And I ask this question to professional women at the menopause transition, and so often the answer that I get is, I want to lose weight so that I can feel better about myself again. Now, this does actually make sense because we have an identity at a certain weight, and a lot of the women I meet have been about the same weight for a long time, and then mid-40s, early 50s hits, perimenopause, menopause, and they get this bump in insulin resistance that is hormonal from the drop in estrogen. And what you get is a bump in weight gain, and then it keeps going up, right? So you have this identity at a certain weight, and then there's a big change, and our clothes don't fit. You've got pants that you've been wearing for years that you like, and they don't fit. So I understand the sentiment that I want to lose weight so I feel good about myself again. I want to regain the identity I had of myself at a certain weight. It makes sense. And also, there are a lot of changes already with the menopause transition, right? You had to get a new skincare routine. Your hair either thinned or got a weird texture or something happened with it. Sleep disturbances, many things change. And one of the things that some of them are great, but some of the things that we don't like in particular are the body changes because we're used to ourselves the other way. But let's look at this framework of I want to lose weight so that I will feel better about myself. When we have this framework, we start at point A where our weight is up and our clothes don't fit and we don't like ourselves this way. Then we think I will travel to point B where I'm at goal weight. And then point C is right there with it, and I will like myself again. Well, I found from coaching hundreds of women that liking ourselves isn't actually a point C after losing weight. It's a completely separate track. There's the losing weight track, and there's the liking ourselves track. And whether we're liking ourselves for the first time, or we're liking ourselves again, or we just want to know ourselves again back at the old weight, they're two separate things, the weight loss journey and liking ourselves again. So this is very important when we talk about weight loss. Now, I had a client named Nadia, and she was very hard on herself. She had a mean voice in her head. You're not doing this right. You could do this better. You could run your business better. And it went in and out, right? She talked this way to herself. She thought this way about her kids. They should do these things better. They're adults now. So there was a lot of harsh voices in her head going toward herself and toward others. So I talked to her about this and I said, that voice in your head can be changed. And she said, no, that voice is me. I don't believe you. But I gave her some exercises to try. And she was surprised to find that she could like herself better. And that was its own journey. So imagine that you're driving yourself super hard and beating yourself up to get to that number on the scale that you want, that goal weight. You have watched it go down. You say things to yourself like, you don't deserve a cookie. You go to a nice restaurant and you say, you just get a salad. And then you hit your goal weight. It turns out point C is not just there waiting for you. Oh, bing, I like myself. No, you've been mean to yourself for months now. And so when you get to goal weight, you still have that same opinion. You don't like yourself at goal weight. The weight loss journey is a separate track from liking yourself. weight loss, and liking yourself. So there are 3 reasons why being nice to yourself is better for the weight loss journey. Number 1, if we are nice to ourselves and work on being a friend to ourselves, we inspire ourselves. Then we can actually like ourselves before we get to goal weight. So this is awesome, right? Liking ourselves journey is faster. And then we just keep going and love ourselves all the way down to goal weight. That was the goal all along, and you can get the liking yourself part first. So when you arrive at goal weight, you just say, cool, I got that goal. I was already happy yesterday because I like myself, and now I'm just going to pat myself on the back for the accomplishment. I got that big goal that I wanted. Amazing. Okay, number 2, if we make friends with ourselves, instead of using a mean voice, weight loss is a nicer experience and easier. Think about teachers you had in school. Think about the voice of the mean teacher in your head versus the voice of the inspiring teacher. So I'm going to gender these teachers, but we know it doesn't matter who they were. But let's say, remember that guy? He was the AP history teacher, and he drove us into the ground. He was super strict all the time. But the good thing is we all got good numbers on our AP test that we wanted. And, it was tough. It was awful, but we got where we wanted to go. So all good. And then we have the other teacher, and randomly we'll make her a her. And when we talk about her, we say, oh, I just love going to class. We just talked about the most amazing thing again today. And, I didn't really love science that much, but now I'm really starting to get into it. And I'm inspired to read my textbook, and I can't wait to be in that class every day. So when you think about those 2 things, let's say with that inspiring teacher, we also get that same outcome. We all did well on the AP test, and it's no surprise because we've just had the most amazing experience all year. So when you think about that, it's a different energy, right? The AP history teacher who just drove you into the ground has that driving, pushing, punitive type of energy to it. And then the other one, the science AP teacher, is inspiring. It's a pulling. It's an inviting, a completely different energy. And when I talk about these, you can even hear in my voice that they're quite different, right? And your outcome is the same. You got the number grade that you wanted on that AP test. You ended up with the same goal outcome, but the experience was very different. And one was very light and happy, and it was easier to go to class because you looked forward to the experience. Whereas the other one, you were happy with the outcome, but every day you had to go in, and wasn't it awful to spend time with that person? And even when you get to the end, the thing is, who do you want to spend more time with at the end of that class if you need to go on in that subject? Very different energies, right? Number 3, if we are nice to ourselves and like ourselves before we get to goal weight, we don't feel the need to escape the eating protocol we created. Now, one of the keys to permanent weight loss that I do with my clients is we create an eating plan for them that's individualized and uses foods that they like. So they get to goal weight, and there are a few things that get tweaked, but they already are living a lifestyle that they really like. So since they already like themselves and are speaking nice to themselves in their head, it's easy for them to go forward. We like that nice voice in our head. We're happy to keep walking forward with her. And that sets you up for it to be more likely that you get lasting weight loss after that weight loss journey. Now, I don't have science to tell you that being mean to yourself will stop weight maintenance, but we don't have any scientific evidence that being mean to yourself helps you lose weight or really helps you get any goal. But we do know a few things. We do know that willpower lasts about 6 months on average for people. I know that I personally have much less willpower than that. And I also think that if you have listened to this mean voice all the way down, you might want to stop listening to it. You might be sick of it. You might want to turn your back on it. And then where does that leave you for your weight maintenance eating if you only got your goal with a mean voice? because you're not going to want to listen to that anymore. Now, on the other hand, we do have neuroscience data that shows us that making tiny celebrations is motivating for our brains. So if you bring a healthy lunch to work with you, instead of blowing it off and hitting the drive-thru for French fries, you can do a little happy dance and congratulate yourself. And your brain will like that celebration and want to do it again. This will make it more likely that you will pack that healthy lunch again the next day as well. So that part we do know. So this upbeat, inviting, celebrating energy really helps us hit goals better. Now, I told you about Nadia. She was pretty shocked that she could speak nice to herself in general. And so she had a very new energy with herself. And she also noticed that she had a lighter, happier energy that went out to her family as well. As she spoke more kindly to herself, she also had more kind thoughts about her adult family. And she lost the weight. She was pretty shocked that she could speak nice to herself in general, and that also it was just as easy or easier to lose weight while speaking kindly to herself. So I've told you about the neuroscience of tiny celebrations and how to do them. We've talked about the energy of being kind to ourselves and trying to make friends with ourselves and speaking well of ourselves to ourselves. Now, imagine if you joined a group of smart professional women who are like you, getting their midlife weight loss goals and all working on being nicer to themselves and supporting each other in their weight loss journey. Now, that could be amazing, right? So, in conclusion, we want to be nice to ourselves and we want to work on liking ourselves. It is its own track. It is separate from the actual weight loss journey. But doing them at the same time helps make the weight loss journey easier, more inspiring, and helps us move into maintenance in such a more aligned and flowing way. It's so good to be back with you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day. Hi, this is Dr. Heather Awad, and I want to invite you to crack the code on menopause weight loss. On Tuesday, August 26th, I am having a virtual masterclass at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, where I will share the 3 surprising secrets to menopause weight loss. You will learn how to align your hormones toward natural weight loss instead of working hard against them. We will celebrate how food timing can work in a busy professional woman's schedule, and you'll get the secret truth of how to boost metabolism. I can't wait to see you there, August 26th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. To sign up, go to vibrant-md.com/event. I look forward to seeing you there so I can share these secrets.